Welcome back to the Travsessed podcast. We are your hosts, Kim and Aaron. We are healthcare travelers and the creators of Travsessed. In this week's Traveler, a quick tip. That's right, it is Tuesday, so another quick tip is coming at you. This is another question that we just got, which we think is a great one. And it is about basically wanting to travel, but feeling like they don't know it all. And kind of we're going to break that down for all of you dreamers out there that are ready to go hit the travel road.
Yeah, like they don't feel ready. They don't feel like they know enough that they can't travel yet. Yeah. So that's what we're going to get into.
Perfect.
What do you need to know to travel?
I like it. Let's go.
Flight crew, please prepare for departure.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about knowing when you're ready to start traveling. And I have this conversation all the time with people, and there's this misconception that people feel like they have to know every single thing before they can start traveling. Or it's like the opposite, where it's like, you know, they don't know very much, and I'm like, no, you probably want to get more experience before you start traveling. And so it's like, where's that line, right? What's that balance? Because you don't have to know everything, but you do have to feel confident, and you do have to have some experience to travel. And so that's what we want to talk about today, is kind of like what does that look like?
And I will say too, I mean, Kim and I have been traveling for almost, going on 13 years now. And I will say that a lot of the stuff that we talk about can be used cross-specialty, cross-modality. I think in these specific terms of what we're talking about, this really applies to radiology, ultrasound.
Yeah, radiology and gen. But you can take what you want and like apply it to your own modality, whatever that is.
Possibly, yeah.
Because so basically, and I felt like this too when I started traveling, is like, oh, I don't know how to do that, or I don't know how to do that. Like, what if they do that and I don't know how? Blah blah blah. And I think well, first I'll say you do not have to know how to do everything. I have learned so much as a traveler, so much. Everywhere I've gone, I've learned something new. So, you don't have to know how to do, transplants or baby heads or spines or whatever to start traveling, right? You want to have the gist down. You want to feel confident in what you do know how to do and what you do know how to scan. In this case, I'm talking about ultrasound. And then once you start traveling on the interview, you will always ask them, what type of exams do you do, right? And you'll get a sense of what that department does. And if there are things that they're saying that you're like, dang, I don't know how to do that. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Then that's your opportunity to then say like, hey, like I'm really strong in vascular and I can be so helpful in that department. But you mentioned that you do, some OB or some anatomy, and I haven't had anatomy scans and I haven't had a lot of experience with that, but I'm willing to learn if you're willing to teach, and I'm really strong in these other areas. And then that's an opportunity for them to either say, yeah, of course, like we'll train you on the things you don't know how to do, or say, no, we actually need someone to hit the ground running in these areas, so it's not going to be a good fit. But 9 out of 10, from my experience, they're always willing to train you. And I have learned so much from different places that I had no idea how to do as a sonographer before I worked at these contracts. And so just knowing as a traveler, you are going to learn so many skills and learn so many different things. You do not have to know it all, but again, if you are on an interview and everything that they say you don't know how to do, like they're not training you, you're not a student. But if there's like a couple of things exams that you're not familiar with, most of the time they're going to teach you.
Well, and obviously, like, Kim's talking about ultrasound from an IR point of view. I was always very transparent with what I don't know. And I think that was an interesting follow-up question where they were like, so I just tell them on the interview, I don't know how to do this stuff. And it's like, yes, like you need to be very upfront with what you do not know how to do, right? Not like fake it till you make it, especially in radiology, because that shit will come out very quickly. Mm-hmm. Number two, I will say like, I had never done neuro or anything, and not even like been in a neuro department. And I've learned all that as a traveler. I started off with just circulating so I could understand it. That facility particularly did say that if you The one that I went to that I had to scrub, they were like, we'll train you how to scrub neuro. But if you had zero neuro experience, we would not bring you in. So it was like that type of conversation. But I will say, no matter what you do as a hack, like something that you should put in your back pocket, be very upfront with like, I don't know how to do this, right? If you've done a couple, then say you've done a couple, but be very specific on what it is that you don't know how to do. Also, I would follow up that conversation. If they say, yeah, we're willing to bring you in, we're willing to train you, we have the time. Usually you're speaking with a manager or a director. Sometimes you get a lead in the room talking to you on the phone. A lot of times you don't. My number one thing was, I need you to make sure that you pass this down to not only your staff, but your doctors. That they know that we spoke about the fact that I don't know how to do this and that you guys are training me. Because what sometimes will happen, and it's happened to me, is I have a conversation with a manager. We have a very good conversation. They bring me on with the intention to train me, but they've never told their staff. Then I go in there and I'm like, no, I was really clear that I don't know how to do this. And you can see the despair on their faces, right? That they now have to train you to do this because they do. There is this undertone, and I understand where it comes from, that us as travelers should know everything. And there is an undertone there until it's outright spoken about. And I think just the tip is, I would just like to tell your staff so they know what's coming in. Are you done? I mean, it's just been...
Sorry.
Stop!
I have an itchy nose and Aaron keeps thinking I'm picking my boogers.
You are, because you're spinning them in your fingers, okay? So you don't just spin things in your fingers when there's nothing there.
I'm itching it. Okay. But yeah, I think that's a great tip. I think that's super helpful. And I think the takeaway is just, you want to be confident and you want to have some experience. I would never be like, oh, you've been a stenographer for a few months, like you should go out and start traveling. Like you want to learn as much as you can, and you want to feel confident in the skills that you do have and work on those skills. And especially if you work in a place where you have an opportunity to put your hands on a lot of different exams and get really skilled in a lot of different areas, like freaking do it, man. Mm-hmm. Like I wish I would have done that, but I didn't, because I just didn't have that opportunity. But yeah, just be honest on your interview. You're going to learn so much. Like, I'm such a better stenographer now than I was but I've been traveling, 13 years now? Stenographer for oh my God, 18? Jeez. Holy shit poo.
Shit poo.
That's 18 years?
I've been doing IR 21 years.
Okay. Don't say that out loud. How old are we?
I know.
That's crazy. I can't believe 18 years. But anyways, I'm a way better stenographer now than I was then, just because of the traveling and the doctors I've worked with, the stenographers I've learned from, the different exams that I've been trained on. It's been such a great experience. And so if you go in confidently and you go in asking questions and you go in honestly saying what you do need help with, and what you're willing to learn, then you're going to have a really good experience as a traveler and gain a lot of knowledge.
I do want to say
skill.
too, unfortunately, we've been coming across this, and there's a lot of people out there that are very non-self-aware. And it's kind of interesting to me because there's just, so know yourself, right? Really know yourself and know that as a student or as an early tech, when somebody showed you something, did you pick it up? Did you understand it? Or did it take you 15 to 20 times and you still kind of got it, but you didn't? Like, you know yourself enough to know that, like, I could walk into a place, they're going to show me how to do something, and I could take off running or not. Like, so know who you are as a person, because as a traveler, they don't want to train you like a new tech. They want to be able to show you something, understand that you're going to take a little bit to learn, but you pick up things quick and you can jump in and boom, the next day you kind of got it, right? Like maybe in a week you got it, right? But like you could be a full-time tech at that place based off of them showing you for a small amount of time, right? Yeah. Like it's not like, all right, let's take 13 weeks to get you trained. Like it doesn't work that way. So just understand that there is a shorter leash but people are willing to train you. And
Totes.
I came from a place that only did very basic IR, and I thought that was all IR until I got into the real world, and I pretty much learned everything as a traveler. Now, granted, I was extremely solid in the basics, and I knew how to scrub, and I knew what things were, and I knew how to do things, but I spent the first 4 years traveling very nervous, because it was just things I had never seen before. And so it's about understanding that no facility does things the same. They do different procedures, and you just got to be able to roll with that, but pick up things very quickly, or else you're going to get shifted out really soon.
Yeah, 100%. I think we'll leave it there for now. If you ever have any specific questions about sonographer,
Traveling?
as a sonographer, always feel free to reach out. I talk to a lot of you guys in the DMs. You ask good questions, and I'm always here to answer any questions about traveling and ultrasound or air and IR. So if you are listening and you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at Kim and Aaron G. And I think we'll just leave it there.
Well, I would like to add,
we'll see you guys later.
Not
Bye.
not only DMs, but also the launching of our new app that you'll have direct access to us and the community, which is going to be a really cool thing. And you'll have access to Traveler School and everything else that we are teaching and doing in our monthly workshops and Q&As and all that stuff. So you'll have direct access not only through DM and this podcast, but
which
through
I
the
didn't even
membership
want to
site.
bring that up because we've literally been saying we're launching this membership site for a month now, and update is our developer is still working on it, and so she is not ready, but we are hoping by next week she will be ready to go. And once we do that, we will be launching this membership. We will be launching it first to our Traveler School students. So if you are a Traveler School student, be on the lookout on your inbox, and then we'll be releasing it to the rest of the people on our email list. And then we'll do a bigger launch out to everybody else. So yeah, we'll talk about that more next week.
Perfect.
Hopefully it'll be ready. 'Cause I'm so excited. So excited to. It's
So
gonna
you know
be,
that this podcast is coming out next week.
Oh no.
So maybe
So scratch it.
maybe it's good, maybe it's not, but just be on the lookout, because if you are on our email list, you would have gotten an email. So you're listening to this whether it's come out or not.
Dang. Okay. Well,
Anyway,
bye.
bye.